We found 61 Americans who quit technology to heal themselves. One wrapped his router in copper foil and killed his own internet. One paid $800 to eat lentils and cry in a yurt with complete strangers. And one spent $340 on a fancy water filter, only to end up with the exact same tap water she started with. And every single one of them thinks they are the most enlightened person in the room. It gets so much worse. Like, if you know somebody like this, subscribe if you are somebody like this, and drop your most unhinged wellness moment in the comments right now. 1. Barefoot in the park for 40 minutes, and then came the moment of stepping directly into a fresh goose situation with no warning whatsoever. Standing completely still and hoping the earth would cleanse this did not work, because the earth does not cleanse this. A husband sat on the bench eating chips and offered absolutely nothing helpful. Did the goose know something modern wellness science does not? 2. Every single person on the contact list received a handwritten letter that week because going fully analog was the commitment. The dentist never received the appointment confirmation and the wrong day arrived, along with a best shirt and a handwritten note held like it was 1987. The slot was already gone and given to someone using the reminder app like a normal person. Was the fountain pen ever going to win against the calendar app? 3. Throwing the microwave away to avoid EMF radiation felt like a genuine victory until standing in the kitchen and realizing the entire house was still technically inside the atmosphere. A wife asked calmly how leftovers were going to be reheated from this point forward. The answer was that they would figure it out together. 3 days later, a new microwave appeared in the garage and has not been discussed since. Was the microwave ever actually the problem? 4. Every single morning for 2 weeks, the same oak tree in the backyard received a full hug as part of the grounding ritual. On day 4, a squirrel launched itself directly at the left hand and bit down without any hesitation or warning. The naturopath said this was simply the body releasing stored urban stress through the unexpected encounter. A husband wanted a tetanus shot involved in this conversation and got absolutely nowhere. Can a squirrel actually remove urban stress from a human body? 5. Sun-charged water became the entire personality starting the first week of April, with glass jars placed on the windowsill every single morning, with complete dedication and purpose. The plants are genuinely thriving and looking incredible by every measure. 9 consecutive days of a headache have passed without improvement, and the doctor suggested simply drinking regular water instead. Is it possible the sun was charging the water specifically for the plants and not for the person holding the jar? 6. Nightly breathwork in total darkness became the sleep routine to avoid any artificial light before bed, and the commitment was genuine and consistent every evening. The breathing happened so slowly and so intentionally that falling completely asleep in the kitchen chair while sitting upright became the outcome. Waking up at 3 a.m. with a fork imprint pressed deep into the left cheek was the result, and a wife took a photo before saying anything. Did intentional breathwork in a kitchen chair count as spiritual practice or just an accidental nap? 7. Copper mesh got wrapped around the entire router as the solution to the household EMF problem, and an entire Saturday afternoon went into completing this with total focus and precision. The internet disappeared immediately and completely without any warning, and a wife stood across the kitchen holding a phone with 0 bars while a daughter had an assignment due. Standing back and announcing genuine pride in this accomplishment happened anyway. Was the Wi-Fi actually a radiation source or simply an unpaid family member? 8. An off-grid weekend wellness retreat sounded like exactly the right decision after a brutal month at work. And $800 later came a yurt and lentils for every single meal alongside complete strangers who cried at the dinner table for reasons that were never once explained to anyone. A husband asked what was received in exchange for $800, and the answer given was transformation. Does transformation actually taste like lentils, or does it just smell like the inside of a yurt? 9. Forest bathing was the full plan, and arrival at the trail happened with open arms and completely pure intentions ready for the experience. Rain started immediately, and no umbrella was brought because umbrellas represent man-made interference with natural experience. Standing in the forest getting completely soaked for 40 minutes resulted in a cold by Tuesday morning. A mom said she could have delivered that exact information for free over the phone. Did the forest know someone was coming and simply not care? 10. Every morning at 6 a.m. sharp, the Tibetan singing bowl got struck to replace the alarm clock that had been thrown away, and the sound rang out beautifully across the entire neighborhood at considerable volume. A formal petition from the neighbors arrived within the first week and came back with 14 signatures, including someone 3 houses down who had never been met before. Striking the bowl again after reading the petition felt like the only reasonable response. Is a Tibetan singing bowl a wellness tool or a neighborhood conflict that has not peaked yet? 11. Switching to charcoal toothpaste felt like a completely logical dental upgrade, and the teeth genuinely looked fine after consistent use every morning without exception. The sink, however, looked like something had met a dramatic end inside it overnight, and a husband walked in half asleep and backed straight out of the bathroom without saying a single word to anyone. Scrubbing the sink for 15 minutes still left it looking suspicious. Is charcoal powder a dental revolution or just a crime scene that resets itself every morning? 12. Buying an EMF meter felt like finally taking real control of the home environment, and walking through every single room testing everything carefully felt empowering and necessary. It beeped near the television, and near the fridge, and near the lamp, and then it beeped when held up toward itself standing alone in the hallway. A wife asked what was wrong, and the answer was nothing before the meter went into a drawer permanently. Has anyone actually told the EMF meter that it is also part of the problem? 13. $400 for an earthing bedsheet felt completely reasonable at the time of purchase, and it arrived and went onto the bed immediately with full excitement and high expectations. A husband climbed in that night and said it felt exactly like the regular sheets from Target, without any detectable difference at all. Telling him he was simply not grounded enough internally to feel the distinction was the response given. Is a $400 earthing sheet a sleep revolution or just an expensive reason to feel superior at bedtime? 14. Getting rid of the Keurig was the right move for long-term health, and zero regrets existed about this decision from the very beginning. Raw coffee grounds now get brewed directly in a pot every single morning at 5 a.m., like a frontier cowboy with serious wellness goals, and a cloth used for straining still lets grounds through consistently. A husband bought a Keurig for his office and has not mentioned it once despite the receipt being found. Is Frontier Cowboy Coffee a genuine upgrade or just inconvenience with a much better personal narrative? 15. The wellness coach gave one simple instruction, which was to drink only spring water collected personally from a natural source as close to the earth as possible. The nearest natural spring turned out to be 4 hours away, and the drive happened anyway on a Saturday with 4 empty glass jugs sitting in the back seat ready for collection. A laminated sign at the source said the water had not been safe for consumption since 2019. Is driving 8 hours for undrinkable spring water a wellness commitment, or just a very long lesson in reading signs before leaving home? 16. Sleeping better was the entire goal when the phone went into a Faraday bag every single night, and the results felt promising during the first few days of the experiment. Then a sister called during an actual emergency at 2 a.m., and the call got missed completely because of the bag and what it does. The sister was fine by morning, but finding out about the bag and its purpose took 40 minutes of explanation, followed by a silence that lasted considerably longer. Is a Faraday bag a wellness tool, or just a stylish way to become completely unreachable to everyone? 17. 3 full hours of preparation went into that raw lasagna, and every single layer was assembled with genuine pride and careful attention to detail using zucchini strips and cashew cheese held together by pure determination. A husband walked in from work not hungry at all, and after a pause, admitted to eating a gas station hot dog on the way home without mentioning it until directly asked. The fork went down slowly. Did a gas station hot dog just defeat 3 hours of raw culinary intention completely and without apology? 18. Frequency healing tones replaced every single piece of synthetic music in the house, starting on a Tuesday with complete conviction and a full playlist overhaul done in one afternoon. By Friday, a teenage son had packed a bag and moved in with his father without much of a discussion happening between anyone involved. Turning the tones up slightly after watching him leave felt like the natural response, and telling the ex-husband that some people are simply not ready for sonic healing yet was the explanation offered. Is a teenager leaving home proof of a wellness failure or confirmation that the frequencies were actually working? 19. 3 full weeks without a laptop and a journal replaced everything that a screen used to handle, from communication to research to daily planning, across 180 pages filled front and back. A husband flipped through it one evening and noticed that nearly every single entry began with the phrase, "I wonder," and ended with something that would have taken 11 seconds to Google with any device. Telling him it was about the process and not the answers was the response. Is journaling a spiritual practice or just very slow internet with considerably worse search results? 20. Blue light blocking glasses worn from 4 p.m. onwards every day was the plan for fixing the circadian rhythm, and the commitment to this felt solid and well-researched from the beginning. Wearing them to a restaurant that evening made reading the menu completely impossible, and after squinting at it for a full minute, something called market fish got ordered based entirely on what the waiter described out loud. A husband ordered a burger and could see it perfectly from across the table. Is fixing a circadian rhythm worth ordering a complete mystery fish in a dimly lit restaurant on a Wednesday evening? 21. Moving the entire home office outside felt like an inspired decision for natural light absorption, and the setup looked genuinely promising for about 45 minutes before 3 pigeons arrived completely uninvited and made themselves comfortable. 2 sat on the chair, and 1 landed directly on the keyboard and walked across it with complete confidence before anyone could intervene. And it sent a Slack message of 17 random letters and 1 emoji to the entire company. A manager replied asking for clarification. Should a pigeon have sending privileges on a professional company's Slack account? 22. A hand-thrown ceramic mug arrived beautifully wrapped, and eliminating synthetic materials from the morning routine felt like the right move toward a cleaner and more intentional lifestyle. The seller had described the hairline crack running down the side as a natural character mark full of authenticity and charm, but it leaks directly onto the lap every single morning without a single exception. A second one has already been ordered from the exact same seller. Is a leaking ceramic mug a character mark, or just a wet lap that arrives with a wellness justification attached? 23. Never charging the phone near the bed was the wellness influencer rule, adopted immediately and without question as part of a broader commitment to better sleep quality. The phone now charges in the hallway every night, and the 5 a.m. alarm goes off directly outside the mother-in-law's bedroom door, requiring a sprint past in socks every morning to silence it before the second beep sounds. The mother-in-law has said nothing out loud, but her face has communicated everything consistently for 3 weeks. Is optimizing a circadian rhythm worth sprinting past a silently furious mother-in-law before sunrise? 24. Sleeping on the floor to align the spine with the Earth's magnetic field started as a 2-week experiment with genuine optimism and a real commitment to seeing it through properly. The back got considerably worse by day 5, and the chiropractor has since been visited 4 times and recently mentioned purchasing a new boat during the last appointment in a way that felt directly connected. The floor sleeping continues every night despite the spine disagreeing loudly every single morning without fail. Did the Earth's magnetic field align anything at all, or just quietly fund a chiropractor's new boat? 25. Every single smart device got removed from the house on a Sunday afternoon, and the feeling of liberation that followed lasted until Monday morning when the kids could not complete their homework. And a wife stood sweating in the hallway, unable to adjust the thermostat, and nobody in the entire house knew what time it was without shouting across rooms at full volume. Sitting in the living room feeling deeply present while someone yelled the wrong time from upstairs happened anyway. Is removing all smart devices from a family home a wellness practice, or just organized chaos with genuinely good intentions? 26. Certified forest soil got ordered online to reconnect with nature indoors, since apartment living made any outdoor grounding completely impossible on a daily basis. The bag arrived on a Thursday looking exactly like what it was, and got placed in the closet in a ceramic pot for dedicated grounding sessions throughout the week. A roommate opened the closet once and stood very still for a long moment before asking quietly if everything was okay at home these days. Is indoor forest soil a creative wellness solution, or just the beginning of a very concerning roommate situation that has no good ending? 27. Banning the microwave beep became a non-negotiable household decision because high-frequency sounds were identified as a significant cortisol spike trigger that needed to be eliminated immediately. The door now gets opened exactly 4 seconds before the timer ends, and standing there guessing whether the food is actually done has become the daily routine, resulting in lukewarm soup 11 times this month alone. A husband microwaves food at his office and eats it hot without any apparent cortisol consequences. Is guessing whether soup is done a wellness practice or just cold soup with an unnecessarily complicated origin story? 28. Bringing the grounding mat to the office seemed completely reasonable for maintaining an earth connection during long Zoom calls and supporting overall wellness throughout the workday. It got set up under the desk on a Monday morning, and a manager spotted it during an in-person walkthrough later that week and asked what it was without any particular warmth in the question. Saying desk accessory without blinking was the response, and something got written on a clipboard immediately after. Is a grounding mat in a corporate office a genuine wellness tool, or just a very grounded path toward an uncomfortable performance review? 29. Cast iron became the strict and only cooking rule after a full weekend of researching Teflon toxins produced results that could not be ignored or taken lightly under any circumstances. Everything made in it now carries a distinct iron flavor that arrives immediately and stays through the entire meal without apology, and a husband eats it without comment because the commitment gets respected, even when the food does not taste good. The blood panel came back genuinely excellent last month. Is cooking exclusively in cast iron a health revolution, or just paying good money for food that tastes like the pan it came from? 30. $600 of EMF blocking paint went onto every bedroom wall across one long committed weekend of careful work. And the feeling of being protected afterward was immediate and real. Then the phone got checked and showed a full Wi-Fi signal with perfect bars, completely unaffected by anything that had just been applied to every surface in the room. A wife looked at the wall and then at her phone, and then back again without saying anything at all. Is EMF blocking paint a genuine protective measure, or just an expensive way to redecorate a bedroom with misplaced confidence? 31. Quitting caffeine was supposed to reset the entire nervous system starting that Monday, and day 1 felt manageable and day 2 felt suspicious before day 3 arrived and brought with it 4 uninterrupted minutes of crying at a paper towel commercial while sitting on the kitchen floor. Calling a father about unresolved childhood themes from 1987 happened immediately after, and the father was eating lunch and was completely unprepared for this level of emotional content on a Tuesday afternoon. Is caffeine withdrawal a genuine detox experience, or just an unexpected therapy session for everyone within phone range? 32. Leaving the phone at home for one full day was supposed to create a deeper sense of presence and real connection with the physical world and the people in it. Getting lost within 40 minutes of leaving the neighborhood without GPS happened, and 2 strangers gave completely different directions with equal confidence before an hour of confused driving. In a wide loop ended at a Bass Pro Shop in a town that had never been heard of before that moment. Is spending a President's Day lost inside an unknown Bass Pro Shop a spiritual journey, or just extremely poor navigation? 33. Starting a kitchen compost bin felt like the most responsible and earth-connected decision of the entire year, and the setup happened on a Tuesday with full enthusiasm and genuine long-term commitment to the process. Reading the apartment lease carefully for the first time by Wednesday revealed a specific clause prohibiting composting directly by name, as though someone had clearly attempted this exact thing before and caused a situation worth documenting legally. Is a landlord who bans composting by name in a lease anti-environment, or just someone who has been through this particular situation at least once before? 34. Replacing every LED bulb with incandescent for a warmer and more natural light spectrum felt like an easy and immediate wellness win that would improve mood and daily energy without much effort or disruption. The house felt cozier within days, and the mood lifted noticeably until the electricity bill arrived and had doubled completely from the previous month. Standing in the warmly lit kitchen, holding the bill and feeling genuinely excellent about the overall vibes while being unable to afford vibes of this quality on the current budget created a complicated moment. Does paying double on electricity for better vibes count as a financially sound wellness decision? 35. Barefoot earthing on the grass at school, drop-off seemed like an efficient use of an otherwise ordinary morning. Other parents noticed immediately, and one flagged down the vice principal with visible urgency. The vice principal walked over and handed over a pamphlet for the school family wellness resources without asking a single question. A daughter pretended not to recognize anyone standing there. Is barefoot school drop-off a grounding practice or just a parent-teacher relationship ending one morning at a time? 36. Raw milk from a local farm felt like the most natural and ancestral health decision made in years, and the 40-minute drive each way to collect it personally from the farmer felt like part of the commitment and the experience. The stomach had extremely loud and specific opinions about this decision that it began expressing clearly approximately 2 hours after the first glass, and continued expressing consistently and without restraint for 4 full days straight. A husband worked from home that entire week. Did the stomach reject the raw milk, or was it simply cleansing itself loudly and at great inconvenience to everyone present? 37. Dinner was completely normal, until a teenager said something that stopped the entire table cold by pointing out calmly that the human body itself emits EMF radiation naturally as a basic biological function. Both parents looked at their own hands at the same time, and then looked at each other and then looked at their hands again without speaking. That specific piece of information has been sitting heavily for 3 full weeks, and has genuinely not become easier or more comfortable to think about over time. Is someone who avoids EMF devices but personally emits EMF a hypocrite, or just a very complicated wellness journey? 38. Silence at every meal became the new household rule to keep cortisol low and support digestion. A brother visited for dinner without being told about the rule and talked for 45 uninterrupted minutes about a podcast covering the host, the guests, and the theme music before noticing nobody had responded once. The silence that followed that realization was a completely different and heavier kind. Is a silent dinner rule a wellness boundary, or just a social experiment with absolutely no warning label attached? 39. Wearing a sleep mask every night to block all artificial light was producing genuinely noticeable improvements in sleep quality, and the commitment to it felt well worth the minor adjustment to the nightly routine. Then at 2 a.m. an urgent bathroom trip became necessary, and the mask was completely forgotten about while standing up from the bed with full confidence and walking directly into the wall at a reasonable pace. A husband asked from the bed if everything was okay, and the answer given was that the darkness is healing before climbing back in. Is walking into a wall at 2 a.m. a wellness side effect, or just the universe suggesting a slower pace at night? 40. Dawn nature. Immersion was advertised as an experience where participants would hear the earth speak directly, and the full guided session got booked with genuine openness and a real willingness to receive whatever message was waiting. What the earth communicated was 17 mosquitoes into the left ear for 40 consecutive minutes while the guide hummed softly nearby, and completely unbothered by any of it. 3 separate prescriptions from 2 different doctors followed, and 1 star was left in the review. Is arriving at dawn and getting 17 mosquito bites a nature experience, or just an expensive reason to need antihistamines before 8 a.m.? 41. Switching every playlist to 432 Hz tuning felt like peak evolution, and that Saturday dinner party became the perfect moment to share this discovery. Nobody could hear any difference whatsoever despite listening carefully when asked. Mentioned it once, then again, then a 3rd time over dessert, and a 4th time after getting kicked under the table. The guests left earlier than planned. Is 432 Hz tuning a spiritual upgrade, or just a dinner party conversation that absolutely nobody at the table actually requested? 42. Reverse osmosis filter. Installed to remove pharmaceutical runoff completely. Then minerals disappeared too. Then mineral drops got purchased to replace them every morning. 7 minutes now gets spent daily removing things from water and placing those exact same things back into the same water. $340 later, the water tastes completely identical to before any of this started. Is spending that much money to end up with the original water a wellness journey, or just the most expensive round trip to the same exact destination? 43. Every notification got turned off, except direct calls, and day 1 felt spacious, and day 2 felt clean and intentional. By day 11, not one single person had called directly even once. Staring at an empty call log every morning has become the routine now. cannot determine whether this silence represents a mindfulness achievement or a social situation that has been quietly unraveling from the outside for longer than realized. Is 11 days of complete phone silence a wellness win, or just an uncomfortable social audit with no good results? 44. Podiatrist said barefoot grounding on concrete causes serious lasting arch damage over time. Told him that sounded like an extremely pharmaceutical perspective on human feet. Both sat across the examination table in a silence that felt professionally significant and mutually uncomfortable for a considerable amount of time. Something got written in the file and nobody asked what it said. Drove home and stood barefoot on the driveway within 10 minutes of walking through the front door. Is that warning genuine medical advice or just someone sitting across a table who needs more personal research? 45. Radiation blocking phone case bought, and signal immediately dropped to 1 bar inside the house. Every call now happens from the back patio regardless of weather or occasion. Last Thursday, a full employee performance review got conducted in the rain, holding an umbrella with one hand and a phone with the other. Employee asked about the wind noise, said open office concept without pausing even slightly. Employee went completely quiet after that. Is a radiation blocking case a health investment or just a management style that HR has absolutely no knowledge of yet? 46. Organic glass bead, weighted blanket ordered for grounding sleep, and the excitement when it arrived was immediate and genuine. Weighs 23 pounds exactly. Getting out of bed every morning now requires advanced planning and real physical effort before the second alarm even finishes. Husband slides out from his regular blanket in 11 flat seconds every single morning and has offered zero assistance at any point during this journey. Is a 23-pound weighted blanket a sleep wellness investment or just a very heavy commitment that physically cannot be escaped before 7 a.m. without a strategy? 47. Drove 40 minutes to cold plunge in a river for a complete nervous system reset and arrived with full commitment and genuine open energy. Waded in and 2 feet downstream sat a shopping cart fully upright, in the current looking completely unbothered by everything around it. Stood beside it in freezing water for one long moment, then got out and drove home quietly. Wife got told the plunge was incredibly resetting. The cart never got mentioned once. Is river cold plunging a nature reset or just standing in cold water next to abandoned retail equipment? 48. Wind chimes went up on the back porch for healing frequencies and daily natural resonance, and they sounded genuinely beautiful every single morning. Neighbor filed a formal noise complaint within 6 days without one prior conversation happening between anyone. City of Tucson reviewed it and officially agreed with the neighbor in writing, and a letter arrived on Tuesday. Got read on the porch while the chimes rang clearly behind. They have not come down. Did the wind chimes heal anyone or just bring 2 neighbors considerably closer to never speaking again? 49. Bone broth. Sunday ritual locked in, and every source confirmed 48 hours of simmering without shortcuts. By Monday afternoon, the entire house smells like a medieval tavern without fail, every single week. Book club canceled their visit that week with no specific reason provided. Stirred the pot, tasted it, added salt. Felt completely unbothered by all of it and by the cancellation. Is simmering bone broth for 2 full days inside a home a wellness sanctuary, or just a reliable method for ensuring guests never visit a second time? 50. Smartphone traded for a flip phone to reduce screen dependency and simplify everything going forward. T9, texting has removed 15 years of confidence and transferred them directly onto 2 thumbs that were clearly never designed for this specific challenge. Typed home and received good 3 consecutive times and sent it anyway. Wife replied asking what that meant. Called instead because typing had become genuinely unreliable and emotionally exhausting on a daily basis. Is switching to a flip phone a digital detox or just humbling daily proof that modern thumbs have very hard limits? 51. Grounding instructor newsletter said synthetic socks block all earth energy completely. Every single sock owned turned out to be synthetic without one natural exception anywhere. Wool replacements arrived, and wearing them in July in Florida while sweating through every layer has become the daily reality. Husband asked why all the socks were in the bin. The explanation took longer than expected. Is replacing every sock for grounding purposes a wellness upgrade or just an expensive way to be deeply uncomfortable all summer? 52. Utility company arrived to install a smart meter and got turned away immediately for EMF reasons without any negotiation. A thick official certified letter arrived shortly after and got taped directly onto the fridge next to the crystal collection where it has lived ever since. Guests ask about it occasionally, and the explanation takes considerable time. Is refusing a smart meter a firm wellness boundary, or just a certified letter that now permanently lives between a rose quartz and a grocery list? 53. Blackout curtains came down to wake naturally with morning sunlight, the way the body was designed to function. First morning felt incredible. Second morning revealed the entire street had an unobstructed view directly into the bedroom at 6 a.m., and a neighbor waved from the driveway. Waved back from the bed without moving. Curtains stayed down. Is waking with natural sunlight a circadian rhythm fix, or just an accidental daily performance for every single neighbor on the street? 54. Wheatgrass grew beautifully in the kitchen window for weeks with consistent daily care. Woke up one morning, and every single blade was completely gone because the rabbit had eaten the entire supply overnight without leaving anything behind. The rabbit looked extraordinarily well and full of energy. Standing in the kitchen holding an empty tray with nothing available for breakfast was how that morning started. Is growing indoor wheatgrass a wellness practice or just an elaborate rabbit feeding system with extra spiritual steps attached? 55. Himalayan salt lamp glowed warmly every evening, doing its ionizing work consistently. Came home one afternoon to find it unplugged and replaced by a ring light in its exact spot. A teenage daughter had filmed a 4-minute TikTok there, and the video has 80,000 views. The salt lamp sits unplugged and has healed precisely nobody since that afternoon. Is a Himalayan salt lamp a wellness investment or just a content studio waiting to be discovered by a teenager with better lighting instincts? 56. Week-long silent retreat booked with genuine intention to reset completely from modern noise. Silence lasted through day 1 and into day 2 before the woman sitting nearby at dinner began chewing with complete disregard for every other human being present. Breaking the silence became unavoidable and immediate. A partial refund request is currently being drafted. Is a silent retreat a genuine path to inner peace, or just 7 days of sitting next to someone who has never once considered how loudly they chew? 57. All laundry started going outside on a drying rack to avoid electromagnetic dryer exposure completely. HOA sent a violation notice shortly after, and checking the rules revealed clotheslines are specifically banned by name in the documents. 2 completely separate rule systems are now being violated simultaneously, with zero progress made in either direction. Is air drying laundry outdoors a wellness commitment or just a reliable way to disappoint both a wellness coach and an entire homeowners association at exactly the same time? 58. Standing barefoot in the front yard every evening became the grounding ritual, happening consistently without skipping, regardless of what neighbors might think. On May 1st, a casserole appeared at the front door because the neighbor had quietly concluded something must be medically wrong. Grounding did not get explained. The casserole got taken inside and thank you was said. Is barefoot front yard grounding a wellness ritual, or just a surprisingly effective strategy for receiving free home-cooked meals from genuinely concerned neighbors? 59. Shungite pyramid placed carefully in the living room to neutralize ambient EMF with precise intentional positioning. A brother-in-law visits regularly and moves it every single time because he believes it is a decorative paperweight for holding documents. It has been recentered exactly 14 times this month without one conversation about what it actually does. Is a Shungite pyramid an EMF neutralizing tool, or just an object destined to spend its entire existence being moved by someone who will never once ask what it is? 60. Beehive installed in the backyard for natural pollinator energy and a deeper connection to ancient ecosystems. The bees claimed the back porch as their territory within the first week, without any negotiation whatsoever. The grill has not been touched since April 28th, and approaching the porch now requires careful consideration that was never part of the original plan. Is installing a backyard beehive, a nature connection experience, or just voluntarily surrendering outdoor cooking to a colony that pays absolutely no rent? 61. Moonlight bathing on the back porch every night to regulate melatonin naturally became the ritual, and standing under the open sky felt ancient and intentional. The neighbor across the street installed a Ring camera on April 30th pointed directly at the porch at a very specific angle. Choosing to interpret this as genuine community interest in wellness feels like the healthiest available response. Is nightly moonlight bathing a melatonin regulation practice, or just a ritual now stored in excellent HD footage by a neighbor every single night? And that is 61 real people genuinely out here grounding barefoot on concrete in Phoenix, wearing wool socks in July, arguing with podiatrists, and feeding wheatgrass to their rabbits, all in the name of wellness. If any of this felt personally familiar, you already know what to do. Hit like, drop a comment, telling us your most unhinged wellness moment, and subscribe to Ridiculous Complaints. Because honestly, this content finds us. We do not find it. Which one of these was actually you, though?